What's up, YouTube? My name is Lexi. Welcome to my channel. Before we get into any content whatsoever about anything that's going on in this video, I am recording this on Christmas, so Merry Christmas to you. Happy holidays if you don't celebrate Christmas, but I just wanted to, extend warm wishes and everything like that for the holiday season. I hope that this time of year is bringing you into alignment with all of your desires. I know we are always like pushing to end the year strong, but end the year rested. You did an amazing job. Let's just, mellow out and enjoy that. So Merry Christmas, happy holidays. So next video that I do, I'm going to just be doing a full recap of the finale, and then we are going to be talking about everything else under the sun because we are done with the ultimatum. A lot is going on with the going-ons, but it is time for us to release these characters. So just rock out with me for the next two videos, and then we'll be cooking with gas. So without further ado, let's get into it. Episode 8. So we opened this episode with a very weird scene. I don't know if it's like how it was edited or like if it's just out of sequence, but basically we opened this scene with Sandy and Nick. And Nick, as of last episode, Nick was spiraling because he had found out about the second kiss that Sandy had with JR. So all of a sudden we get this scene and it just seems as if Nick is like being super apologetic for his actions, like him storming out and him being upset about finding out information that he wasn't made aware of, which is like really weird because I'm just like, why are you, like, why does the focus shift from it being on Sandy and her actions versus now you and this crash out? So that's kind of how we just kind of are thrown into this weird conversation that they're having, where basically Sandy is just over here on her high horse reiterating the fact that if Nick can't get it together, then he has to be okay with the idea of letting her go. She's not going to be able to continue the relationship, blah, 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 blah. Next, we go over to Zaina and JR. Zaina and JR, they're having like a barbecue, and Zaina says that, we've been together for 3 years, but I think like this opportunity has basically like allowed for her to ask him more deeper questions. They've been together for 3 years, but apparently like their relationship has been extremely surface level, and extremely surface level relationships is like basically no relationship at all. It seems as if like she really had no knowledge of who he was or like what kind of makes him who he is. So she asked him about like himself, like his childhood, how he grew up, which is an odd conversation to have with somebody after being with them for 3 years, but okay, whatever. He says that he was called ugly, how basically he has a lot of insecurities, which makes a lot of sense as to why he acts the way that he acts. Like nobody just a villain all because like they just want to be a villain. Like there's a reason why they're like that. And I think because like JR was somebody who had to teach himself to be of value, like teach himself values, teach himself like, hey, I'm attractive, hey, I'm tall, hey, I'm black, like, hey, these are all like attributes to be proud of or whatever. So I think that he used so much of his energy to just really combat those negative comments that he was hearing throughout his whole childhood. And to an extent, like, I have empathy for that, but you also have to couple that with just being able to be a well-rounded human being altogether. So after, he's opening up and being a little bit vulnerable, then she switches it around and she's just like, well, when did you know that you love me? And I'm just like, girl, that's not a good segue. That's not even how you segue that conversation. Like this is what I believe, like, is tying JR to Sandy so closely, because Sandy is at least going to stay in that moment with him and ask him more about like, I don't know, maybe like what kids used to say, or like how long did it take you? Like she would have just asked more proactive questions about the information that he actually is presenting her with or whatever. So Zaina is just going off on another question about like, her, and I'm just like, girl, this is the reason why he doesn't feel connected to you. She asked him if his love for her has changed, and he actually says something more so along the lines of he is afraid because he feels that she loves him more than he loves her. That's a red flag right there. That's always a red flag. Once you feel that way, then you're automatically being the chaser in the situation. And as a woman, you never want to be the chaser. You never want to feel like you're pursuing somebody who is just like not actually trying to be with you, or it feels like you're being one-sided. And then once it's one-sided, you are not able to really rest in that like that feminine role that you're supposed to have. So that right there is a red flag. So because she's ready to like dive into marriage, he just feels like, you know, you're so sure about me, and you know, you might love me more than I love you. And she's saying that, you know, the prospect of marriage is for them to build together. It's not for her to just like, you know, run off into the sunset and stuff. Like, it's because like she wants to actually build him up. And he has a very nonchalant, non-responsive kind of response. So we get over to Scotty and Aria's apartment, and they're having a conversation, just still recapping the trial marriages. He claims that he's learned so much from his trial marriage with Zaina, and he's like, you know, kind of saying that there's been some changes between Aria, but he says that in terms of physicality and stuff like that's still an area where they're struggling. And she's saying that, you know, she's working on it, she's trying, like she's rubbing his back, like she's starting to try to incorporate more physical, more of that physical touch component, because that's what he wants. And he turns around and he's just being a jerk. He's kind of just like, well, it's not enough. And she's just like, she feels like her efforts is not being taken into consideration at all, because he's not being responsive. He's not giving her any space to just feel like this is something where she could comfortably work on with her partner the way that Caleb did. And he's basically turning around kind of just like, well, if you don't get it right, then, you know, it is what it is. If you don't get it right, then I'm not marrying you. So again, dangling marriage like it's a carrot in front of her face. Scotty, she doesn't want to physically touch you. She doesn't want, and not that you just say that she doesn't want to, but it's just like, if you're not making her feel emotionally safe, like, because you are making the space so hostile, you are making me actually not want to touch you at all. You are making the space so uninviting and so unfriendly, and I feel like I have to be like, I'm sure she just feels like she's going to be judged, or she's going to be critiqued, or she's like, her efforts are not going to be appreciated at all. So because of those things, I can understand why she's hesitant on doing anything with Scotty. And on top of that, Scotty, you are still a terrorizer. You are still absolutely unhinged. So I'm just like, girl, you need to just leave this man. Just leave this man altogether and let him go to therapy. We get back with Mariah and Caleb. Mariah apparently she has stormed out, and she came back into the room, and you know, she's really just needing like a hug from Caleb. She's just saying, like, you know, she feels that she's exhausting him. She acknowledges that she's not secure in herself, and she's just wondering like how that affects their relationship and the way that they interact with each other. Caleb eventually puts his laptop down and he gives her a hug, and he consoles her, because it hasn't been like a good copious or copacetic atmosphere between the two of them. So Nick and Sandy go and meet Sandy's mom and sister. Nick and Sandy's mom and sister are not amused. They are not all goo goo gaga over him like the way that they were with JR, but that's besides the point. In this conversation, you know, they're just kind of recapping things, but more importantly, Nick goes to the bathroom, and Sandy's mom, Nick goes to the bathroom. Sandy's mom is basically like, you know, like what, kind of comparing and contrasting JR and Nick. But essentially, once again, Sandy's mom is very much so over Nick. Sandy's mom is just like, listen, I'm tired of the roller coaster with you. You don't need to be in this relationship anymore. You need to do what's best for you, and you need to press on and move forward and leave Nick. So Sandy is just also talking, and she's also acknowledging that, you know, as much as she loves Nick, like, she's just really unsure as to if this is the partner for her. So, and I'm just like, Sandy girl, you could just go on ahead and leave. We get back to Zaina and JR's apartment. Zaina is, so JR's birthday is coming up, so Zaina is starting to kind of, you know, shower him a little bit. She got him like a Eagles grill, is what she said, and then she got, and it's like a candle, and he's very much so kind of like lackluster, just like, oh, well, you know, thanks, smelling up the candle, just, you know, just not super enthused. At this time, she's still bringing up marriage. She brings up the fact that, I think he brought up the score, and basically like while he was over in his trial marriage, like the Eagles had lost, and she was like, well, that's because we weren't together, and clearly I'm your good luck charm, you know, maybe if I get a ring, like they'll have like never-ending Super Bowls and yada yada yada. And JR is not amused. JR is not amused. JR is looking at her just like, girl, I already done told you what it is. I already done told you I'm not about to marry you, but you know, you are still here. So JR is unamused. Caleb and Mariah, they go fishing, and it's a cute moment. Caleb gets kind of close to her, and she acknowledges that this experience is like a time for her to kind of really get to know herself, and to really be comfortable in herself. So she's working on that, and Caleb also agrees that he's also on his own life journey. So he feels that once they both get on the same page with, you know, self-discovery and self-healing and like being dependent with, like being good with self, then he feels like they're going to be unstoppable. I don't know, I might have to apologize to Mariah then. I might. Then we get over to Aria and Scotty. Aria and Scotty are exhausting. Aria, she had merely mentioned that he forgot the roll of like paper towel or whatever. He forgot a roll of paper towel. It was a small mention. It is not that serious. This man went crazy. So he's kind of going off on a rant about the fact that, oh, like if things aren't done the way that you like it, then he feels like, you know, she's going to get stuck on that, and everything else just doesn't get acknowledged. All the other work that he's done doesn't get acknowledged just because like one thing, like that one thing that was done wrong, it now becomes like the focus. And then he just continues to spiral and rant. He's over here bringing up her past, bringing up her trauma. I'm just like, this is all over paper towel. What is wrong with you? This is just over paper towel. Like, calm down. So his point kind of goes back to the idea of validation. He was just like how, you know, Zaina didn't do all of that pretty much. Like Zaina was just like, he didn't have to coax Zaina into giving validation or appreciation. Like all of it just kind of comes back down to he is berating Aria once again. Zaina and JR, they go out to dinner. She says that so far, like she's noticing that he's been more vulnerable. I suppose that has been off screen because I have not seen vulnerability, but I digress. She feels that he would make a great husband. She's basically just like pouring out her heart to him. What he does do is that he thinks that she's a great person. Like he thinks that she's a great person. He thinks that he's seeing her in like new light. He is saying that he is finally like acknowledging the fact that him weighing so heavily on like his past marriage and weighing so heavily on like things that didn't go right in that relationship, like he really shouldn't have been putting that stress and pressure on Zaina, and which is absolutely true. Like you shouldn't have, like, you know, go heal yourself and figure all those things out before you actually come back to have a real relationship with me. She knows that her intentions for him are like super pure. So she also gets into a conversation about Sandy. So she thinks that she's basically in support of the connection between him and Sandy.
You in danger, girl.
She feels that, you know, she didn't shy away from any challenges, and of course he's over here just like, no, she didn't. Over here smiling yet again, the smile that we do not see when he is with her. But once again, I digress. She says that, you know, like once she kind of like, you know, calmed down about everything that kind of transpired between him and Sandy, that she realizes all the changes that and improvements that were here, and he was just like, oh, haha, like you thought I was leaving with Sandy, and she's just like, never, I didn't think that at all. And then he turns around and says, why not? Moving on. So we get over to Scotty and Aria. Not too much happened over here. They're laying down. She claims that she can see the changes with Scotty. I'd still like to know where exactly the changes are located, because I don't see them. I haven't seen anything that says that this is a changed man. This is a man who is still dangling marriage in front of you while being a lunatic. So when you find the change and Netflix finds the change, y'all can notify me so that I could find the change with y'all. Moving on. So Mariah and Caleb, they are talking, and basically like at this point in time the couples are kind of having their last dates. You know, Sandy and Nick, they went out to like a lake with like candles or whatever. Mariah and Caleb, they are in their hotel just packing their things up and whatnot. Mariah's in a place where she's trying to be okay no matter what the outcome is. Caleb is also just kind of rummaging and still thinking about the idea that the relationship could potentially end here is actually really worrisome to him, because he just feels like he's not ready, he's not there, he's just not exactly where she would need him to be so that he could show up as like an amazing partner for her. He asked her, you know, like, what about marriage scares you? And she's just like, nothing, it's great. Like she's just not scared. She just feels like this is a new opportunity, like it's a new adventure for them. So she's really not worried at all. And he feels like, you know, I'm so flawed, I'm not perfect, I'm not right, I'm not this, I'm not that. And What they do is explain that, you know, if this is their last night together, like they very much so have felt the love, they felt the connection, they felt that they were truly valued by the other person. She says that she's grateful for this experience with him, but she does also want to stand firm in like her boundaries and what it is that she is setting for herself, and period. Like I can't really be mad about that. You know, you see your life going in a certain way and you want a certain outcome for yourself, and really and truly, like, you should really always stick to your guns and don't settle for anything less than that. So as much as it will probably hurt her to actually walk away from Caleb, she is basically, you know, working herself up to understand that this is a real possibility, and she will do what is necessary to attain what it is that she's looking for. Zaina and JR. So JR's birthday is coming up. Zaina comes into the room, and she has these like balloons. So she puts the balloons and she spreads them out across the living room, and he's just like, she calls him into the living room to like help her out with something or whatever. And he sees the balloons and he's just like, oh my god, like, you know, like this is you know, he's appreciative, gives her like a hug, picks her up, yada yada yada. And she's sitting down and she's like pouring out her heart to him, and again talking about marriage, but once again, like, it's still not giving like he wants to have this conversation. It's still not giving that this is going to turn out the way that Zaina wants it to. And I feel so bad for Zaina, because I'm just like, we've all been a Zaina. Like, I'm not gonna sit down here and like crucify her too badly, but like, we've all been a Zaina for somebody that we really love, and we really want to see like a certain outcome with this person. But at the end of the day, you deserve better. Like, you need somebody who is going to reassure you. You need somebody who is going to say 10 toes down, like, I want to be here with you as much as you want to be here with me. And it's super hard, but I really wish that in these scenes, like, we were seeing less of Zaina poke her head in and, like, you know, keep on bringing up marriage, keep on bringing up the ultimatum, keep on bringing up whatever. And it's just so clear on his face that he does not want to have anything to do with this conversation whatsoever. So he thinks that so he's talking to her and he's just like, you know, I don't want to let go. Like, I think you're a sweet soul. You're so this. Like, you've showed me so much love. You've been like the best girlfriend that I've ever had. And still, ladies, that's another fact. Like, you could be the absolute best person ever, just literally at the wrong address. So, Zaina has showed up for this man. She has gone all out for this man, and he acknowledges it, he appreciates it, but it's still not necessarily getting him over that hump of saying that I am ready to actually make you my wife. He believes that she is wife material. He believes that she is going to be an amazing wife, amazing mother, and amazing, like, anything that she puts her mind to. But wife, his specific wife, we have yet to hear those words as they pertain to Zaina. So it's the final morning. Aria and Scotty, we pan over to their apartment, and Scotty is really nervous. Scotty is kind of more so just like, I am not sure. He feels like he's not sure of what Aria is going to say. Aria feels like, you know, she's going to make a decision that's best for her, but he is very, very unsure as to what that decision is actually going to be. Scotty, ultimately, he gave her the ultimatum, but it's like he gave her the ultimatum to just prove, like, his love. The issue here is your behavior, your actions, the love that you provide, like, the way that you provide love, the way that you make space for her. Like, those are the actual issues, which did not get resolved in your trial marriage. It didn't get resolved in this experience. Like, we don't know when it's going to get resolved. So, but it most certainly did not get resolved in any of these episodes. So, to me, I'm just like, Aria, sweetheart, I need you to run. You deserve better. You need to leave. You need to be with somebody who is going to provide safety for you. And Scotty is just not it. So she finally stands up and she says, you know, if you are not able to give me the love that I require, I'm not going to do something that does not serve me, which would be to say yes. We end off the episode with the ultimatum day. We start off with Sandy and Nick. So Sandy finally gets out the car and she's walking, and we see JR, and she's like, what is actually going on here? Are y'all about to sit down here and concoct to leave? That is how the episode ends, and let's get into episode 9. So episode 9. Now, we're going to breeze through this. I don't have a ton of notes, but we're just going to go and get straight on into it. Episode 9, we open up with Sandy and JR. And I'm just like, JR, why are you even here? What is going on? Are y'all about to plan to like leave the show together? What is going on? Because I don't know where Sandy's head is at. And I feel like Sandy is not going to leave here with you. But whatever. Let's hear what this conversation about. So now they're sitting down here and they're talking. And JR is acknowledging, you know, the fact that he's been more vulnerable, he's been more open with his feelings, and that he appreciates like her bringing that side out of him and whatnot. He brings up the fact that, okay, well, we're here and on this show, like, we have the choice to either get engaged to the person that we came here with, leave with our child marriage person, or we leave here single. And I'm just like, JR, you making it seem as if they told you in the contract, like, these are your exact 3 options that you have. And it's just like, nobody's guaranteeing that you are going to go leave this experience with somebody else's girlfriend. This whole thing was for you to more so feel like, realize if there might be somebody out there who is more compatible with you. So why do you automatically have it in your head that you're about to leave here with, like, you are not leaving here with something.
I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
That's not how this is working, baby. So basically, like, so he's just like, you know, you gotta do what's best for you, blah, blah, blah. Sandy turns around and Sandy's just like, you know, I root for you and I'm gonna praise you. Like, I want what's best for you. Like, you know, we definitely had a connection, but it's not like we're gonna leave here together. And the way he froze in that seat, priceless. The way he froze in that seat looking like, oh shoot, like, you know, like she actually isn't rejected. So now he tried to play it off and just be like, yeah, like, you know, I support you and I want what's best for you, whatever's gonna make you happy, Sandy. But that man was hurt. Sandy's getting ready to leave and they walk away and he's over here going up the stairs looking like a little, like his leg don't work properly. And he's just like, you know, hold it together, hold it together. I'm just like, not you sitting down here really being in a state of incapacitation over this lady. Like, what is wrong with you? So then we get the scene of our first couple is actually Zaina and JR. Zaina is getting ready. Fast forward, she's going over to the spot. She's just over here reiterating how much she loves JR and just how, you know, how their connection has blossomed and she's still really hopeful that they're going to get married. And he pulls up, he lets her out of the car, and they just kind of like stand in front of this building, and I'm just like, it looks awkward. So to me, automatically, I'm watching it, and I'm just like, the setting doesn't look right. The setting isn't giving what it should be giving for an engagement, so I'm just a little bit concerned at this moment in time. We get a very long soliloquy from JR, and like, both of them, like, they're still kind of recapping their relationship. He actually is he's giving her a lot of flowers at this moment in time. Like, he's telling her like how amazing she is, how wonderful she has been, how he wasn't really in a position able to like receive all of everything that she had to offer, and what he could see in the future for them, and what he wants to be able to bring to the table for their relationship, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm listening, but it just sounds like it's very roundabout, very much so going in circular motions. I'm just like, it's sounding too good. I don't know. It's sounding too good. It's giving BS. Mind you, the man was just about ready to go and leave out of here with Sandy. If Sandy had said, yes, let's go book it, that man was finna be out. I'm just like, all right, Zaina, at this point in time, like, maybe just recap everything and just say, you know, maybe you could say no. Maybe you're gonna be the one that's gonna like break everything. But no, that's not what happens. JR says that he is not ready for marriage. He's just like, you know, in shock. But I'm just like, but are you really in shock? Saying it like, are you really surprised that this was his option? So he's there and he's crying. When you guys can locate the tears for me, let me know so I could watch the edit. Because I didn't see any tears dropping from that man. That man is sitting down here just... And I'm just like, but where are the tears? Like, what anybody could orchestrate that? This man is just very unserious. So after he says no to her, like, she's like comforting him, just like, you know, you're still my favorite person and I love you so much. And she's like, oh my god, like, he cried, I never seen him cry. I'm just like, we haven't either. Moving on, let's go on to Mariah and Caleb. Mariah, before we get into anything, Mariah, that dress ate down. She looked stunning. stunning. She looks so beautiful in that dress. Okay, so beautiful to the point where when she meets up with Caleb, Caleb had to ask permission to give his girlfriend a kiss. I'm just like, no, that was really cute. That was really sweet. So she's telling him, like, you know, like, I know you came to this experience. I know you didn't want to be here, but thank you so much for doing this experience with me. Mariah says that she's kind of like ready to accept whatever outcome, and it turns out that Caleb actually wrote her a speech. So like he actually wrote down, because he says that he's not good at like just speaking off the top of his head, so he wrote down some words. And when he said that he wrote some things down, I'm just like, he's about to propose. So he writes this amazing, beautiful letter to her, just like encapsulating all of his feelings and his gratitude and his, like, you know, just his awe that he has for her and whatnot, and just like really being appreciative of her love, and he doesn't really want to be without it. So at the end of the day, he proposes and she says yes. So I'm just like, Mariah, I'm sorry, because definitely after hearing the vows, I was just like, I was wrong. Maybe I was wrong for rooting. Like, it made me feel so guilty for rooting the way that I was, for rooting for him and Aria the way that I was rooting for it. Like, I still ultimately never thought that he was going to leave Mariah for Aria, but I just really had an attachment to seeing Caleb and Aria's relationship on screen. But anyway, long story short, congratulations to these two. They get engaged. Moving on, we get over to Sandy and Nick. Sandy, yeah, like, Nick is still very much so committed to Sandy. Nick very much so still wants to go forward with marriage. Nick very much so is just like, you know, like, you're my person. I don't want to do life without you. And Sandy is kind of like being kind of cracky. Like, she acknowledges like she really loves Nick, like she wants to be with him, but she just feels that there is just a lot of work to be done still in their relationship, or just to figure out certain things, like figure out next moves for them. Nick's energy pretty much gives like, you know, like, we're gonna be able to work through any of our problems together, like, I just want to be with you. He is still trying to give reassurance. It's like, you know, she loves him, but he's also saying like he doesn't feel like it. So he had actually reached into his pocket, which kind of looked like he was getting ready to propose, and she's just like, what are you doing? So like, that kind of like scared the hell out of her, and it scared the hell out of him, because he's just like, well, if that's your reaction, then we can't go forward with this. She doesn't think that it's the right decision. It's like, she loves him, she wants to be with him, and I'm just like, Sandy girl, you very much so do not want to be with this man, and you might as well just let him go. Just stop wasting his time, and you know, whatever. So like, so he's just like, well, you know, you don't deserve this, you don't deserve this marriage, you don't deserve this kind of love, and I deserve to find somebody who does want this love. And period, Nick, period. Because this girl's been playing in your face this entire time that you've been here. She's been very disloyal, and she's very manipulative. So even in the manipulation, she's over here just like coddling him, just like, baby, baby, don't leave, baby this, baby that. And he's just like, baby what? Like, baby, this is over, you know? Like, I have been trying to get you to be on the same page with me for the longest, and you don't want to. So that's pretty much his sentiments, and they split up. Rightfully so. So lastly, we go over to Scotty and Aria. Now this one, I'm just like, Aria, for the love of God, leave this man. Scotty is basically giving her a lot of affirmations. Basically, it is giving Tyler Perry wrote these vows. Tyler Perry, I've been studying those movies. Like, I don't know what movies he was looking at, but basically he took a bunch of pieces of a bunch of movies and put them all together and added some tears, and those were his proposal. Those were his proposal vows to Aria. So he was basically acknowledging the fact that he wants to be the person that she could depend on, and she's not going to run away from. Big words, big promises. Is he going to fulfill it? Absolutely not. He's giving all these affirmations, and it's just such grandiose, like, statements and whatnot. But I'm just like, girl, please say no, please say no. My girl unfortunately says yes. She says yes, and they're engaged, and she nervously said yes. So I'm just like, there's a possibility that you guys are probably not going to work out, or you probably will not be together by the reunion, because the way she said it, it was more so just like, yes. And I don't know if she maybe said it because she knows that he has a fear of rejection, and she doesn't want to have him spiral on her right then and there, or embarrass him on the TV show. So maybe that's why she said yes. But it was just like, girl, I really wish that she would have just been like, no, like, I can't do this, and just you know, kept it all the way 1,000. As it pertains to Scotty, therapy is not even an optional thing. Like, you absolutely need to get therapy, and we'll see what kind of comes from it. But I'm just like, listen, Scotty's a narcissist. He is not changing his ways. He is not getting the help that's going to be required, and that is that. And Aria, I'm just... yeah, so those are the decisions. Then we get closing thoughts of the cast. Zaina, she feels that from this point forward in her next set of relationships, she wants to be able to fill up her cup and put herself first, and she's realizing like her self-worth. And I pray to God that she is going to be able to find everything that she needs, and she's going to be in a mutually loving relationship going forward. JR admits that he has to heal. We knew that. Sandy says that she's waiting for her, you know when you know. Like, you know in your person when you meet your person. So that's kind of the moment that she's waiting for. So in the meantime, she's just kind of gonna go do her own thing. One thing for sure, I'm glad to see that she did not leave out here with JR. Nick, at this point in time, he just says that he is tired of chasing after Sandy. Rightfully so. Sandy seems to be very exhausting, and like I said, the fact that she's able to manipulate this man, I'm sure like it's just been a roller coaster for both of them, and like up and down, and I'm sure like when it's up, but when it's down, it's just a lot going on. So he is just tired of dealing with that, and he deserves to be with somebody who actually wants to be with him, period. I do think you also need to go see the lady, but period. So our two engaged couples, Scotty and Aria, like, I don't even like the way that it sounds. But these two, they're pretty much just getting excited about like the prospect of living with each other. And Caleb and Mariah, they are also just excited to start life with each other. And that is our series finale. So drop down in the comments and let me know all of your thoughts. Let me know what surprised you, what was a lot for you. Drop down in the comments and let me know all of your thoughts. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Mwah. Take care.